Prediction season is upon us, friends. It is week 0 game week, all right? And I thought, what better time to do predictions? We're talking about the SEC champion and just a slight little conference outlook in this video. I'm excited to do this. I'm a bit interested. I don't want to ruffle feathers. I'm not here to start debates or make this toxic. Guys, it's just my opinion, all right? You don't have to agree with it. I would actually prefer you disagree so we can have some healthy debate, see what you guys think. But let's just keep it fun, man. There's no need to get mad. I have no basis. I'm not a professional in this industry. I don't claim to know everything. I just want to come on here and give you my opinion, my predictions. So that's what we're going to do. Let's start with the bottom of the SEC and we'll work our way to the middle. And then I'll tell you who I think is going to be in the championship game and then ultimately who wins the SEC. At the bottom of the conference, it's going to be no surprise that the odds are favored towards 3 teams to finish as the bottom 3. And that would be Jeff Lebby, Mississippi State's team. We got Clark Lee in Vanderbilt, and then Mark Stoops in Kentucky. Look, I like what a lot of these guys are doing. I really like Jeff Lebby in Mississippi State. However, it's an uphill climb. Lots of new faces at that program this year. A brutal schedule that includes an out-of-conference game against Arizona State week 2. Now, they do get them at home this year, and they actually played them really tough last year there in Tempe at Sun Devil Stadium. So anything can happen. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but it would be interesting to see them put a little fight together in Stark Vegas. However, back to the point of the video, I unfortunately, with the schedule they have and the uphill battle that Jeff Lebby has there in Mississippi State, I think they're going to finish towards the bottom. Now, Vanderbilt's an interesting one, all right? I love Diego Pavia. I love Eli Stowers, arguably one of the best tight ends in the country, and I really love Clark Lee. I think he's doing a great job at Vanderbilt, and the win against Alabama last year could have been really the springboard into a special future for Vanderbilt, but it's still going to take time. And it's incredibly difficult to recruit in the SEC. They have another difficult schedule. I think the depth is what really hurts Vanderbilt. I think they finished towards the bottom of the conference this year. And lastly is Kentucky. Kentucky's a tough one, man, and it almost makes you emotional because Stoops was really starting to have some good success with the Wildcats. They started to turn things around. Teams that used to scratch Kentucky as an automatic win on their schedule there for the last 5 or 10 years. You couldn't do that as much. They're back into a lull. I think it starts at the quarterback position and just shaky quarterback play for the last little bit for the Wildcats. I think this year is still going to be an uphill climb and a little bit of like a down year until they can find their feet again. So those are the teams I have at the bottom. Now let's talk about the middle of the conference, and I'm just going to go through a couple teams and we'll get into my championship prediction, but 2 wild card teams for me that I still think will finish towards the middle are Oklahoma and Florida. I think both of these rosters have upgraded massively. They have just a right fuse of returning talent and new talent. I think about the Gators, and DJ Lagway's potential is off the charts. John Mateer's potential is off the charts. Obviously, John Mateer gets his offensive coordinator with him, Arbuckle, there at Oklahoma. He has so much talent. That Oklahoma team can be really good. I trust Brent Venables, as a defensive-minded guy, of course, to turn that program around. Now, here's the problem for both of these teams, is the schedules are brutal. Arguably 1 and 2 in terms of toughest schedules all season long for both Florida and Oklahoma. Now, 8 and 4 would probably put them in the middle of the pack, but yet that's a good year. For me, personally, I would go as far to say that if Florida and Oklahoma, I'm sitting there and I'm a fan of either of these teams and they go 8 and 4 with the schedules they have, I'm not mad about it. Anything better than that is a great season. I still think they finish towards the middle, but they are wild cards. Anything can happen with those 2 teams. Next, I want to talk about Auburn and Arkansas. These are 2 teams that are in a similar boat. I think they're going to finish towards the middle, but they're going to have to do better than that if Pittman wants to keep his job and Coach Freeze wants to keep his job. Hot seat talk is rampant. These fans deserve more. They want more. A lot of talent. We'll see what Jackson Arnold can do. I love Taylon Green at Arkansas. And, I think both of these teams have a lot of potential to have an 8 and 4 type year. But the other side of it is they also have the ability to go 4 and 8. Now, I'm not predicting that's going to happen, but those are the teams, I should say plural, that I think finish towards the middle. Now, let's talk about, in my honest opinion, what really the top 4 would be. And I'll tell you who my championship prediction is. Texas, Bama, LSU, and Georgia. Those are the 4 teams, and I haven't talked about South Carolina, A&M. I know. I think those are just floaters. I'm taking Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship game. I think LSU is right there. Now, Texas is the odds-on favorite to win the conference this year. However, let me just tell you, I think Alabama has one of the most talented defenses in the country on paper. I don't see Kalen DeBoer having another year like last year. I think Ryan Grubb is one of the biggest acquisitions in college football this past season. The success that those two had with Michael Penix at Washington, I'm not saying they can replicate it, but I am really high on Ty Simpson. I think this Alabama team, with the sour taste they ended in their mouth last year, I'm really high on the Crimson Tide. I just think there's so much talent all over the roster. I trust in Kalen DeBoer. He's a player's coach. I think he's going to turn this around. When I look at Georgia, this is a team that we all looked at last year and said, yeah, that was a down year. And yet Kirby Smart still won the SEC. Still. And that was in a year where they had hardly next to no production in the receiving room. Nobody could catch a football. The tight end position was not where it was how many years with Brock Bowers, and the running back room with Trevor Etienne that we thought was going to boom really wasn't that consistently good either. So if Georgia just writes even a third of those problems, this offense is how much better. Now, Gunnar Stockton is a question mark. We don't know for certain, and same with Ty Simpson, same with Arch Manning. We know what we're getting with Garrett Nussmeier. I left LSU out just because Brian Kelly in week 1 scares me. Like, is that going to derail the season? I don't think so. Like, LSU may have one of the most talented rosters in the country. But back to the championship game, I got Alabama versus Georgia. I'm taking Georgia to win the SEC yet again this year. I don't see either of those two teams having a year worse than last year. And for Georgia, a down year was still an SEC championship year. I think the Dogs take it again this year. Kirby Smart is inevitable, whether you like it or not. That's just what I got, friends. All right, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to do this for the other conferences. And let me know what you guys think. If you disagree, like I said, that's totally fine. Let me hear it in the comments. But let's just be family, man. Be nice to me. All right. I appreciate you guys for watching. Love you guys, and I will see you next time. Thank you.